The fact of the matter is, Tony Ferguson would have finished that Darce. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fact of the Matter podcast. Today, I'm joined by Goose, and we're going to be discussing UFC 300. But first, I have a bit of sad news. This will be my last time on the podcast, at least for a bit. I am going on my 2-year Mormon mission. I've committed to this, and I won't be able to be on for a bit, so I won't be able to join the podcast for a while. I believe Goose and Taco are still gonna continue doing the podcast. So no worries, still more episodes will still come, but
we'll miss you a lot, man. Yeah, we'll miss your wrestling insights. But he'll be back, and in the meantime, we'll try to keep the content going. Without further ado,
let's start the fights. Let's start our reaction.
The absolute bangers. Oh my god, dude! This card really lived up to the hype.
It did.
I was worried, like a couple months before all of the fights were finished, that it was just gonna suck. Especially when I saw Kader and Aljo as one of the only big name fights. But man, it was great.
Yeah, it was, especially with Bo Nickal on the. I'm just joking. But let's start off. No. Let's start off with Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje. My gosh,
the man of the night. Oh my god, he stole. Then I talked about this. The adrenaline dump after that fight. You could really feel it, couldn't you? That was.
I remember, getting into. Like, I had adrenaline dump that, and then we had the Weili fight, which was another sort of adrenaline dump for the first 3 rounds. I was exhausted going into the Pereira Hill fight. I was tired. I was like, I forgot we had another fight. But, wow. Max...
It was late. Very late as well.
Very late. But yeah, Max did a great job. He did perfectly. This, one thing to note is this was... Max's first fight where I didn't see him put the pressure on like he normally does.
Yeah, that's unusual.
He was going back in the fight actually and fought very smart. And looking at how Justin Gaethje fought, it's clear Justin Gaethje went into this fight with a counter-striking game plan.
For sure.
Because he just didn't throw. He just didn't throw, and I was like, "Wow!" I was shocked.
There's a moment actually in the cornering advice by Trevor Whitman where they basically spilled their game plan, and basically Trevor was telling him to like just 1-2 and move, like angle, get out of the way, like just throw like a quick short combo and then move. They did not at any cost. They did not want Justin to trade with Max. So, and I think it was very clear they wanted to counter-strike the pressure striker, which is usually a good idea, especially with Justin's power. But man, Max showed levels in speed and intelligence, and we have to talk about this. That spinning kick, that he landed over and over. It's such an interesting read. The thing is that Justin has been in trouble for the same thing over and over, but in different ways, right? And is that to avoid strikes, he always leans way down like a boxer.
You see Fiziev get counter with that uppercut a ton. You saw Poirier counter it. You saw Oliveira throw knees down the middle.
Yeah, Eddie with a knee, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah. So I mean, but it's just so fascinating that you get that read and you usually think uppercuts, knees, whatever. Max says, "Fuck it, I'm spinning."
Yeah, dude, and that I think changed the fight. When I saw that originally, because it broke his nose and he couldn't breathe through his nose anymore. Which you could see him just gas out after that second round. You could see he was done.
Yeah, and on the production podcast, we actually talked about like the cardio differential between like we weren't sure if it was gonna play a factor, obviously because of Justin's power, but wow, I mean he broke his nose like in the first round, I think.
Yeah, end of first round.
Yeah, first round.
Literally the last second of the round 1.
Yeah, I am a bit worried that the eye pokes played a factor in it. I hope they weren't too bad because that would take a bit away from the victory. Like
I think
can't breathe, can't see.
Yeah, it did play a factor, but I don't think it was too much. I think Max would have won anyway.
Yeah. I mean, the way he looked, I think so as well. Because he's just smarter, and we talked about that as well. I mean, Max's IQ is just a lot better than Justin's. And Justin, of course, has like access to Trevor Whitman, he gave very good advice, honestly. And he actually told him, okay, you're going too much into just counter-striking, and not a bit more. So he gave good advice, but...
Another thing to note is Justin Gaethje didn't throw leg kicks like that. He was too much on the feet, and whenever he did throw a leg kick, he would land, and you can see, I believe it was in round 2, he did hurt Max's leg.
Yes, definitely. They were very swollen at the end of the fight. So he did land quite a few, but he didn't throw as many as he should have.
Yeah.
I agree.
It was too far and few in between.
Yeah, but Justin didn't do too bad, though. And he's the first man to drop Max Holloway. Isn't that crazy?
He is the first man to drop Max Holloway.
I guess not that crazy.
And Max came up with... And Max got up like a champ, like it wasn't even a thing.
His chin is crazy, man.
We might need to make a poll of who has a better chin between Max and Vera.
Jeez, for real. Yeah, that's insane.
That's a hard discussion.
yeah, but yeah, no, very well. And Max became the first to flatline KO Justin. Isn't that crazy?
Flatline. With 1 second remaining, that was a perfect picture punch, or a picture perfect punch.
Yeah. That's the most baddest motherfucking moment. Well, one of the most epic moments in UFC history. I'm not gonna say the most epic, but I think definitely the best I've seen live. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's recency bias, but it's up there.
It was. I think the best moment was Khabib getting KO'd by Tony Ferguson. I think that.
Oh, of course, I remember that.
that was the best moment. Is all
man.
All right,
but great fight.
Great fight. Now moving on. Hill versus Pereira.
Ooh boy.
You were the one that gave the biggest breakdown, so why don't we hear your breakdown of this?
Sure. So yeah, it looked a little bit different from what I expected, but like the concept of targeting the body a lot to then go to the head, from Alex's game plan, I guess that part was correct, but I thought he would do that with kicks. And for those who don't know, months ago, I was convinced that Hill was gonna do it because, well, yes, his striking looks very ugly, and his footwork is kind of ugly as well, but he's still effective and he's still smart. And he's pretty fast, but after doing some homework, I realized, okay, so yes, Poatan had a little bit of trouble with against Israel when he was in Southpaw, but Izzy is just a lot faster and more dynamic than Hill. So even though they throw kind of similar, like they approach it similar ways, you can tell from the speed of Hill's kicks especially that I just knew he wasn't gonna tag Poatan with one of those. So I thought that Hill's best chance was to counter Poatan, but a bit more proactively. And I mean, I don't know, what can I say? Poatan just got him against the cage. I thought Hill would be aware enough to not get to like that far back, and then he just got knocked out. So what do you think?
I remember looking up and looking down at the fight. So I look up. So I was when I was watching it, I was like, all right, so this is going pretty well. Hill's not landing anything so far. And then I look over at my phone, and then I look back and I see a nut shot, and I'm just like, oh. And then I see Pereira just stop.
Oh my God.
Dean. And I just start laughing at that. And then I just see a perfect left hook from Pereira. And just completely, you can see in the replay, Hill's eyes roll to the back of his head from that. And then he just finished it. But the funniest part of that was Pereira emoted on Hill after he won. That was cold.
Hill deserved this humbling, to be honest. But I hope he's not too low on himself, but he had to be humbled.
Yeah, that was really funny, though.
So funny.
That had me dying. I genuinely was. I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah,
I was like,
that was crazy
on him.
That was crazy. But something else I didn't expect though, the calf kicks, he threw them a lot more. Usually, I guess at least in the easy fights, when Izzy was southpaw, Poatan was a lot less active than usual, and basically threw calf kicks almost. I mean, it's just a harder stance to, like in an open stance, it's just harder to actually throw those with the same speed and the same power and so on. So, but he threw them a lot. Either way. I don't think he respected Hill too much, and I guess rightfully so.
Yeah, and you could see after, just emo on him.
Damn right.
Well, what's that TikToker's name?
I don't know his name, but yeah.
Everyone,
whatever.
We'll post it in the podcast. You guys will see. But moving on to the robbery of the night. Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan.
Yeah.
This fight was so fun to watch. But the fans, this is proof to me that fans do not read how to judge fights. From what I saw in comment sections.
Oh yeah, the judges don't read the rules, so how to expect the fans to do it.
So it's whoever comes closer to finishing the fight. Usually, whether that be a knockdown or a close sub attempt, that they're counted as the same basically. And we see Oliveira get the closest sub attempt, and while Arman's sub attempt just didn't even. This specifically talking round 3.
Yeah.
Because we all know round 1 Oliveira, round 2 Arman.
I mean, I don't even know if we can call Arman's an actual sub attempt. I don't think he got that far. He was going for that position, but he didn't actually attempt a submission. Like it wasn't really close at all.
Yeah, no, it wasn't close at all. It's like that just wasn't a sub. And I saw Weasel arguing that because he sub attempt Oliveira, that means it offsets. Really. And I was just like, I don't know if that offsets what Oliveira did.
Yeah, no.
But if you look on the striking on the feet, both didn't do much. Oliveira did land the hardest strike of the round. However, Arman did land more heavier strikes, but there wasn't necessarily anything that really could give one the edge over the other. But that Darce choke at the end, with
that
the way all
around.
That easily that's equivalent to a knockdown, and I don't know what the judges are thinking. I don't know what the fans are thinking.
Let me tell you what the fans are thinking.
Oh, I know what the Islam Arman fans. Oh my gosh.
No, they're just thinking control time means win.
Oh my gosh.
The rules.
I've seen that many times.
I know.
Whenever I see that,
the rules.
Read the rules. But as I say that, every single time someone says someone wins via control time, an angel dies. We gotta stop killing angels, damn it.
Please, yes. So just for everyone's awareness, the rules say the following. Well, actually, I'm just gonna... instead of reading it, I'm just gonna put it on screen. I think that's better for everyone.
Yeah, that'll be better.
But, basically, control time means nothing. The thing that matters most, and this is something Weasel actually gets wrong, even though he talks about it so often, it's just like impact. Okay, impact, right? Not damage necessarily, but impact. So whatever gets the fight closest to an end, right? And that means knockdowns or powerful strikes if there are no knockdowns or something like that. And in the grappling, a submission attempt, the closer it is, the more impactful it is. That's how we measure impact, right? Please, someone tell me what either fighter did that was anywhere close as impactful as that Dars on that round. Please let me know.
Armand didn't even land ground and pound when he was on top in round 3.
Right.
That.
Yeah, if you go back to the fight, there was they were basically striking. It was pretty even, maybe an edge to Arman because he threw more strikes, but they were kind of none of them were really hard. And then some scrambles, control. Arman did, just kept position. Charles scrambles, gets the Dars. Right?
Yeah.
So...
And it was just such a weird fight. I will say, going to our pre-fight breakdown when I was talking about the grappling, I talked about Armand's control, his top game, and how he likes to smother and work in zero room. And we saw that happen exactly in the fight. You saw Armand like to work in zero space. He did struggle to control Oliveira.
100%, especially in that first round.
Yeah.
Well, in the second he did a lot of damage, but I think the first round he realized. Well, he was saying he's not. He's only good at taking the back and getting a rear naked choke. And the first round he almost gets a guillotine. But I'm gonna steal a bit of insight from. I forget what his actual name is. One of the Gracies who trains with Brian Ortega. I forget his actual name. Starts with an R, of course. I'm going to steal some insight from him that the reason why the guillotine failed is because Oliveira's legs, when he locked his legs around Arman's hips, they slipped through the shorts. So the grip wasn't as good. Like the body lock, wasn't as strong. And that gave just enough space for Arman to breathe. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, also stealing this from him, is that when Arman went kind of limp at the very end, that's actually fine.
That's a defense.
Yeah, that is part of defending Dars. And with some time, Charles could have adjusted, but he didn't have enough time. But the submission was fully locked in, though.
Yeah, that is like a close submission.
Yeah, that's very close. Yeah, the adjustment the only adjustment that was needed was basically what, you can see it in Tony against Veneta, I think, where you reach for the legs of your opponent and turn them on their side, and then you just use that as leverage. But yeah, so Arman did well defending both submissions. But
you gotta give that fight. I will say, close fight. I love that fight. That fight was fun to watch.
Very fun.
And I've talked. I was surprised on the feet as well. Oliveira did not do what I expected him to do on the feet.
Yeah, he was definitely less dynamic and aggressive than usual, but I think it's because of Arman's takedown threat. Maybe not sure.
Maybe
he also looked gassed in the third round.
He did. He started backing up in the third round, which got me very worried.
Yeah, for sure. But I still think he won, though.
I do too.
But I think a lot of people think it's just cope. But I'll say this: Arman, I think, won the fight as an abstract concept. Maybe, actually, I don't even know because too close submission. I don't know. It's hard to say. But he looked better at the end. But if you read the rules, Charles won the match. The MMA match.
By the UFC's rules, which are the
MMA unified rules, right?
MMA unified rules. And let's get into some of those rules. Why 12 to 6 elbows and up kicks from bottom are banned?
So stupid.
Are the stupidest thing. There's so many dumb rules in it. Or not even being able to knee your opponent's body while he's on the ground.
I think that's legal. That's legal.
Or it's not. It's still legal, but it's not as like. Or it's
risky.
not as good. It's risky. That's fair. But I remember, what was it? GSP wasn't allowed to do that for a little bit in his Bisping fight. But moving on to Weili versus Jan. Goose, why don't you break that down since you love Jan so much?
Oh, you know me so well, Jack.
Yeah, you so well. I will say the translator at the end was pretty hot. I will admit.
Okay, this fight pissed me off. I know a lot of people really liked it, but after the adrenaline dump, I was just thinking, this will either end really quickly or be very boring. And from my perspective, it happened both ways. I feel robbed, to be honest. I predicted Weili by submission, and Herzog robbed me. I'll say that. I think this is what we should be most outraged about. My feelings, because of my missed bragging rights.
Your missed bragging.
Yeah. Dumb shit aside, I think it was a good fight, and well, except the last 2 rounds. Those I really found those boring. But
yeah,
I have no idea how it wasn't stopped in round 1 and 2. I think you have a very good argument of scoring the first round as a 10-7 because it should have ended. It should have been stopped. At 10-8 in round 2, Jan landed absolutely. She did nothing. So you got a 10-7 and a 10-8, in my opinion, in my scorecards. And then in the third fight, in the third round, Jan drops Weili. Weili was gassed after trying to finish Jan. She did okay. I think a mistake that she kept doing, Weili, and the reason why Jan kept turning away from back take into a rear naked choke is because, so like I think there were like 3 scrambles where Weili did this. She stayed, if I remember correctly, it was like an underhook, but she held onto that underhook way too long, and that kind of sabotaged her, which like it didn't allow her to actually flow with Jan to stay on top. I hope I described that effectively, but if not, I'll show you on the screen. And she did that. That's a pretty big mistake that kind of cost. Like, she could have gotten that rear naked choke like 5 times over the fight. So anyway, I did not like that fight. I think it was a stupid fight. It shouldn't have lasted long. That's the only thing I find stupid. It should have been stopped twice. So congrats on Weili for winning by submission. TKO decision.
I don't know. In the prediction video, I said, I'm predicting Weili by decision, but I do think Weili could win by TKO or submission. I did not expect her to win by all 3 last night.
That's so...
But that was a fun fight. As much as it was annoying to you, I did still think it was very fun because it was an adrenaline dump. We saw Zhang Weili kind of dominate the first 2 rounds. You were like looking at this like, dang, Weili is just so good. And then we see this like titanic force that you're just like that you've never seen before. And then you get to round 3, and just like that iceberg, Jan decided to crack open Weili, and you're just sitting there like, whoa, this went from is this really happening? This is gonna be an easy fight for Weili too. No. I am pooing my pants right now. Like it was a very fun fight, and then you get to round 4 and 5, and you get to what I predicted, which was Weili by wrestling. That's when actual control time wins you the match, by the way. When you just get on top and the opponent can't do
nothing else happens.
When nothing else happens. Ugh.
Yeah, but I will say I will have to give props to Jan. She did the right things on the striking. The counters were very, very sharp. They were accurate. And that's exactly. I mean, maybe I'm underrating her power because she has had all decisions except for 1 knockout of Wash Andrade. But we'll talk about her fight later on. But maybe Andrade is not as washed as we thought. I don't know. Hard to say.
It is hard to say. Now, getting to Jiri Rakic. This was a fun fight.
Shit. Yeah.
I'll break it. That was so fun. I'll break it down first. So when watching this fight, I was looking at it like, oh no, Yuri's done, because I thought his leg was just done. You saw him limping. Yeah. And you just saw Rakic continue to hit that, and then even after Jiri started limping, he stopped throwing the leg kick. Did you notice that?
A little bit, yeah. No, Rakic, you mean? Yes.
Yeah, Rakic started throwing that leg kick, and I was just like, his leg's done. Keep throwing it, but he didn't. Thank heaven. But Rakic.
Taco's weeping right now.
Did Taco pick Rakic?
He likes Rakic a lot. Yes, he picked him.
I like him, but I didn't think he was gonna beat Jiri. Oh, I did think it was close because last second I did change my pick to Rakic, but that's because I saw a picture that looked like Jiri had broken his hand.
Yeah,
and I got really worried about that. But getting into that fight, we saw Jiri come back, and he just needed to hurt Rakic once. And Rakic, he did everything possible to stay in that fight. He's lucky he didn't get called sooner, but he did everything, and I respect him for it. But good on Jiri for getting the finish.
Yeah, and, better than unexpected.
Yeah, honestly, I think I do want to see the. I want for that from that fight. I want Jiri versus Hill, and I want Rakic versus Jan.
Again, interesting.
I think both of those would be fun, especially because it just changed.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Funnily enough, I was gonna say the opposite. I want Rakic against Hill, and I want to see Jan versus Jiri. Even though I love them both dearly, I really don't want them to lose. But I think
those two fights would be bangers as well.
Yeah, Jan versus Jiri would be a pleasure to watch, in my opinion, especially 5 rounds. I do think Jan wins. Might be a hot take, but we shall see. Yeah, no, that was a very fun. I'm not gonna break it down too much. The story of the fight was basically Jiri not being able to defend a single leg kick, Rakic doing what he needed to do. Decision, like point fighting, basically, but like with power. He has power in those kicks.
He was also throwing. He threw some haymakers there.
Oh yeah, Rakic. Yeah, Jiri, but. I said that to beat Rakic, Jiri just needed to be him, be unorthodox. I think being unorthodox is a good way to beat Rakic, and Jan had a lot of success with that. But Jan also had more success on the feet because he has a great kicking game, or especially defensive striking game overall. Jiri didn't have as much success, but man, he's got the power, he's got the angles, the speed, etc., the chin. He got tagged a lot of times. So
yeah,
great fight.
Great fight.
Yes,
now,
but let's talk about. I want to hear from you first. I want to hear you defend your boy, Bo Nickal, and his performance against Cody Brundage. Please, what did you think?
We just did we just watched that fight back, and I gave him my breakdown, which I'll give a little bit of a spoiler. He fought like a wrestler would fight, and but I'll defend my boy, saying that I love him. I do say he is getting too much hate for. Well, he didn't do anything wrong necessarily. But I don't think he deserves the hate that is coming his way. I think he did an okay job. I think he could have done better. I think he was, as we talked about, I think he was too focused on the finish, and I think that had him go over. He decided to do submission over position, which we know position over submission.
Yes, and
we saw him. He just did a lot of things. He would trap the arm of. He would trap. He would trap his right arm, and then his left arm, and the left side of him would be on the fence, so he couldn't get his leg in. And that was struggle. He should have went the other way to try and capture the arm on the right side and get his leg in that way. However, I think he did fine. I will say we did see him struggle to get mount at one time in the second round. We saw him pick up Brundage's leg, and we see that what he should have done was step over and get into that position where he's in mount basically. However, as he is a wrestler, he decided to lift the leg, which is a very wrestling maneuver. in wrestling, we're taught that we need to be in a T position instead of an I, because in a T you can't get rolled over for when you're going for a pin. So we're always taught to be in that T position if we're going for a pin. So with him on his back, he went for that T position when he should have went for the I position. For you wrestlers that are watching, the wrestlers know exactly what I'm talking about. But
we'll put something on screen.
Yeah, we'll put something on the screen. But this seemed like a very much a wrestler type of fight, and he needs to. I think he's too green. I think he needs to expand upon his BJJ. I have said in the past, I don't think ATT is the best camp for him. I don't think their jiu-jitsu is good enough. I think their jiu-jitsu is going to hinder Bo Nickal, and I've said in the past, I think it will hinder Gamrot, and we have seen Gamrot actually regress in his BJJ skills. But and I think Bo, he did what he needed to, and we saw him make adjustments as. We saw in the first round when he went for the knee pick. He went for the head where Brundage got the underhook on Bo and threw him to the side, and we saw Bo do better. Instead, he got the underhook as he went for the knee pick, pushing him to the fence where he got. Yeah, and that was just better.
Yeah, I want to talk about another read he did. Well, not read, but like adjustment he did as well. He was struggling to get. I think he was in half guard. And pretty nice. He with his outside leg, he basically pushed Cody's leg to get to full mount. That was pretty nice, I'll say. I think that was in the second round, but yeah, no, I definitely agree. He's a bit too green in MMA grappling, and I think Hamzat would murder him. I think he would toy with Bo, honestly, both in striking and grappling. For MMA, specifically MMA.
In MMA, we've already talked about the wrestling.
Yeah,
we know that he wouldn't stand a chance in regular wrestling, but that's this is
the
not regular wrestling.
Change significantly how fighters approach fights.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, different rules. We don't have to talk about this, but
yeah, we don't have to talk about it. But I will say, Bo, as good of a wrestler he is, he needs to improve on his cage wrestling. That is his biggest weakness right now, besides his sub game and going for stuff. Bo, if you somehow do watch this, go train with John Danaher. Do not go to ATT. As much as you think they are teaching you the correct things, Danaher will make you infinitely better. And you already have that Gordon Ryan plug, so you can just go and train whenever.
Yeah,
and
he should definitely train with him. But yeah, no, I think honestly, talking about that submission over position, I think he just got carried away because of the sheer pressure, like the odds, the betting odds, the expectations of everyone. UFC 300 main card, everyone's questioning you. He is supposed to do so much better, but we have to give a bit of credit to Cody Brundage. He didn't make it easy for Bo. He's a wrestler himself. He's very strong. He has power. So Bo did not want to strike with Cody. And listen, Cody showed his strength. I think he threw Bo like twice, a couple different ways, and a couple decent scrambles. I don't know. Cody did some good things, but yeah, Bo got carried away. Tried to get the finish, and I think he got into his own head. Trying to get it. But yeah, I feel bad that he felt the need to put 2 thumbs down. I feel bad that that's his reaction after a win. Yeah. But he's definitely not ready for the top 15, in my opinion. No,
definitely he's not. I'd say give him is Kapilov outside the rankings?
I don't know who to give him, honestly. I do think he needs a challenge, but I think Ikram... No, hold on. Who am I thinking of? This redhead Russian cunt. What's his name?
Pfeiffer?
No. The Russian, the Dagestani.
Are you talking about Ikram or...
No. The new sign.
Said.
No,
Said Nurmagomedov. You're talking about the one-eyed guy?
Yeah.
I believe that's said Magomedov.
No, that's not it. Anyway.
Oh no, it's not said. It's fucking. I forget his name.
Yeah, I forgot. Anyway, but I think that would be a good matchup for both guys.
Yeah.
So because I think it'd be a good experience for both men, striker versus wrestler.
Yeah.
Shara
Magomedov.
Yes.
Magomedov. There we go.
Yeah.
Definitely did not Google it. But
yes.
going from a kind of disappointing performance from a prospect to a insanely beautiful performance from a prospect, Lopes versus Yusuf. I'll let the fake fan decide first. I'm just joking.
Listen. In my defense, okay, I originally, quite a few weeks ago, I had Lopes, but that's because I hadn't done any homework on Yusuf. Well, I mean, not really. I had seen one fight live, and then I did more homework. And then I was like, oh man, Yusuf is just gonna counter him. If he approaches the fight like he did with Sabatini, he's just gonna get slept. But man, I am so happy he proved me wrong. I love Diego Lopes. I love to see him fight. He's super exciting. And he approached this fight, even with the 300k bonus that he was snubbed from, but that aside, even with the bonus, he fought so patient. He was patient, guard up, calf kicks from a distance, and he didn't force anything, basically. When the distance was closed, boom, uppercut. How did he generate so much power from that uppercut? Twice.
I don't... Dude,
insane.
Lopes,
I love him.
I can't wait to see him at the top. I think...
he's ranked now.
I know he's ranked. Honestly, this fight's not going to happen, but him versus Aljo would be fun. That would be a fun fight.
Oh, right. Yeah, Aljo's a featherweight now. I forget. I keep forgetting. All right, that fight happened.
That fight happened. Aljo versus
one
Cater.
Of the fights of all time, for sure.
Which we don't really need to talk about. If you watched our prediction video, we all predicted it kind of perfectly.
Snooze fest. Yes.
Snooze fest, and we kind of were like, all right, this is going to be just a wrestling thing, and we talked about Cater could win. However, there wasn't enough info on Cater's takedown defense. And
now we have the info.
Wrestling. Now we have the info, and Aljo gave it to us.
Next.
All those who said that, well, he defended takedowns from the beat. All right. There's a difference between trips and actual double legs. All right, dude, come on.
Yeah, no. Aljo did good. Let's leave it at that. Let's move on to Figgy versus Cody. Pick I had exactly right. Let's go. Figgy submission. Right. The grappling. His grappling was just too good. What can I say?
Yeah. I figured if it went to the ground, Figgy was gonna win. My prediction for that fight was almost perfect. I predicted it by Figgy TKO because I expected him to eventually catch Cody. But in that fight, I said Figgy was. What worried me was Figgy wasn't active enough, and you saw in that fight he was hesitant, and I knew Cody was going to kind of mess with his head, so I figured he was going to win at least some of the early rounds. But I'm glad that Figgy got the takedown. I knew if it hit the ground, he would probably sub him. And I'm happy he did.
Yeah, I mean it's hard for Cody, of course, but it happened as expected. Although Cody proved that he was a lot faster, and I was worried, a bit tentative with this fight because Cody's knockout power and speed, but Figgy does what the God of War does,
He found a way. Got the
talking about not finding the way, let's talk about Jalen Turner
Lord.
against Renato Moicano.
What? What an idiot is Turner. What an idiot. It's
yikes.
You can't if Turner went and pounced on him, he probably would have finished that fight instead of trying to do the walk off. And I would have gotten that fight perfect if Turner actually decided to pounce. But Turner was an idiot. He tried to get the walk off KO. And then Moicano stands up and is facing him, and he points at the referee and starts barking at the referee for not stopping the fight as Moicano is in a stance, ready to fight him.
Silly.
What are you doing, dude? Like, come on. You're smarter than this. You should be.
We were actually discussing parlays before this, and we were like, okay, Turner surely is a lock, right? He's just gonna hurt Moicano and then finish him on the ground. Like, I think you said by TKO or like
I said
KO.
by TKO, and
I said by submission. Like, I literally said he's gonna drop him, Moicano's gonna try to grapple to survive, and then Turner's gonna go for the sub.
Yeah.
But listen, Moicano is very durable. He recovered fast. He came back strong, and simply showed him, who had more experience and more, Moicano did very well. I'll say that.
TKO'd him.
Yeah,
round
TKO.
2.
Crazy.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I'm happy for Moicano. I really like him, and I was rooting for him.
I like him.
So, yeah,
I was rooting for him.
And he's great on the mic too. That was so
he's great. He's hilarious on the mic. I do like Moicano. I do like Turner, but Turner, you've lost some points in my book.
Same. I hope he bounces back, but he needs to. Yeah, IQ.
Yeah, come on, dude. You're like, don't just focus on finishing the fights.
Yeah. Next up, a bit of a sad one, but it went as both of us predicted. Bobby versus Miller. Man, that was. I knew the second they signed this fight, Bobby was just not the dancing partner for a Miller happy ending at UFC 300.
We predicted this fight perfectly.
Yeah.
Because all three of us said, round 1, Miller could definitely steal it.
Yeah.
We all said he could steal it and he could do some things. But then after that, we all said Bobby was going to take over.
Yeah, it was his movement speed.
Yeah. Boy, did he take over.
Sad.
It was sad. Help my parlay though. We don't want to talk about that. And then moving on to Andrade versus
Boy, were we wrong.
Marina Rodriguez. Yeah, we were both. Taco was the one that sort of got that correct.
Yeah.
We did talk about. I believe he predicted second round KO/TKO, but as he said, when as Taco said in his pre-fight prediction, when Marina Rodriguez gets hurt, she gets scared, and she got scared. I don't even think she was like hurt. I think she was just scared. And
yeah, I think she was hurt a little bit.
Oh, she was hurt a little bit, but not to the way that I think it was.
Not for her reaction. Probably not.
Yeah. I think she was doing really well round 2. Almost won round 2 except for that last minute. And then was winning, I believe, round 3 until she got hurt again, like round 2, and got taken down.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how you look at the Yan versus Andrade fight and not realize that literally is the that's the game plan. The counter was still Andrade has always made the same mistakes when she goes forward, and Marina has the skills, but I don't know, she stayed too flat-footed. I mean, she's a Muay Thai striker, right? That's her style. But she definitely had the skills. She was tagging Andrade, and the way Andrade was like moving his head back, all Marina had to do to really crack Andrade was just to step through that 1-2, like that cross, just a bit further, just a bit, and that cracks Jessica bad, drops her most likely because of the position. So I don't know what she was doing, man, but
I don't know what she was doing. Disappointing by Marina Rodriguez, but good for Andrade. I like Andrade.
Me too.
And the last fight that no one cared about was Holm versus Kayla Harris.
Oh, and I forgot. Yeah, I forgot about it.
I don't know. Yeah, as you said, I found out from you is Holm ignored her game plan.
Yeah,
which was very abundantly clear since she decided to not just grapple with Kayla Harris, but decided to upper body grapple with a 2-time Olympic judo champion.
Yeah, it's I don't know. She's beating herself up right now. We know that she regrets her decisions, but we kind of predicted it, kind of didn't, because I don't remember what you picked, but I said decision for Kayla.
I just thought
Holm would fight better.
I did.
I thought it'd be harder to take her down, but obviously she just made it easier.
I predicted decision as well.
But anyway, great fights, most of them. I think the only fight to get boos was Aljo and Cater, and maybe
the decision when the decision was announced with Oliveira Arman.
Yeah, true. Yeah, those were the only two. So that was the only boos. Very good.
Yeah,
very good fight. That was very epic.
It was It lived up to the hype.
Very happy about it. I stayed up until 3 a.m. because I was still riding that high.
Yeah, I'm saying I was there I was right there with you.
Yes. Indeed.
Anyways, thank you all for watching. For the last time from me, for at least a good bit.
You'll be back.
So much I'll be back, but thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And Goose and Taco, we'll see you next time.
Peace. Best of wishes, my man.
Thank you very much.